Most people will never be rich. Warren Buffett knew exactly why. Decades ago, every answer was right there, in a single room, in Omaha, Nebraska. But almost nobody was listening. We went through hours of footage from the 2023 Berkshire Hathaway meeting and pulled out the 10 moments that will change how you think about money forever. Number 7 is the one nobody talks about, but it might be the most important thing either of them has ever said. Let's get into it. Number 1, this hidden insurance giant made billions without anyone noticing.
That has been an overwhelming success, and that's a company that Ajit and 4 people who joined with him set to develop a new business called Berkshire Hathaway Specialty. Now has, what's the float, Ajit?
Coming up to 12 billion.
We've built more float than probably all these companies combined. It's cost us essentially nothing in terms of an underwriting loss. The 4 people have turned in, 1,500 around the world. We took on the whole industry, and we brought some unique talent in the 4 people that came and now have, like I said, 1,500 or so worldwide. And we brought capital, and we brought capabilities that really only Berkshire could supply. So it was the combination of brains and talent and energy and money. We did it without it costing us a dime of entry, and it's been unmatched by any of the public companies that went public. And people have seen us do it, but they can't duplicate it, and that's what Ajita's created.
Number 2, insurance. Float, free money financing assets.
Of our insurance companies, in turn, are run by talented managers who contributed one way or another. Start with Geico at the beginning of my career, and that float, if you think about it, just think of a balance sheet. You've got liabilities here, and you got assets over here, and the liability side finances the asset side. It's very simple. And stockholders' equity finances it, long-term debt finances it, and so on. But stockholders' equity is very expensive in a real sense. Long-term debt has been cheap for a while, but it can get expensive, and it can also become due eventually, and it may not be available. But float is another item that shows it's a liability, but hasn't cost us anything, and it can't disappear in a hurry, and it finances the asset side in the same way as stockholders' equity. And nobody else thinks of it much that way, but we've always thought of it that way, and it's built up over time.
Number 3, AI, the next atom bomb, humanity's biggest challenge.
To uninvent it, and we did invent, for very, very good reason, the atom bomb in World War II, and it was enormously important that we did so. But is it good for the next 200 years of the world that the ability to do so has been unleashed? We didn't have any choice, but when you start something, well, Einstein said after the atom bomb, he said, this has changed everything in the world except how men think. And I would say the same thing may, not the same thing, I don't mean that, but I mean with AI, it can change everything in the world except how men think and behave. And that's a big step to take. It's a good question, and it's the best answer we can give.
Number 4, Berkshire Hathaway's huge investment income surge. Explained.
It's going to be a lot larger this year than last year, and that's built in. I mean, we had, as you'll see in a minute, we've had 125 billion or so in very short-term investments, and believe it or not that long ago, we were getting 4 basis points, which is next to nothing, on that 125 billion, which means we were getting 50 million a year. And now the same money, just day or day before yesterday, we actually bought, because of some funny twist in the market because of doubts about the deficit ceiling or the debt ceiling, we bought 3 billion of bills at a 5.90. That's 5.9. It's a 5.92 bond equivalent yield. So we will have what produced us not that long ago on a 12-month basis was producing 50 million a year, producing something in the area of 5 billion a year. So we're in a position where the investment income is essentially, well, it is certain to increase quite a bit.
Number 5, Berkshire Hathaway's secret, the power of float, explained.
Surprise you is that there's no other company in the United States, no other company that has a number that is that large. And right below that, you see something called float. And float is money that is left in our hands, somewhat akin, but very importantly different than a bank deposit. But you have to pay interest to get a bank deposit. You have to pay more interest these days, and you have to run a bank and do a lot of things. And basically, this is money that represents unpaid losses at this time. You get paid in advance in insurance. So what shows up as a net liability on our balance sheet gives us funds to exercise with an amount of discretion that no other insurance company that I know of in the world enjoys, just because we have so much net worth.
Number 6, Berkshire Hathaway, Geico, and BNSF face competitors. Strategies revealed.
BNSF appeared to lose ground to their leading competitors, Geico on telematics and BNSF on precision scheduled railroading. Ajit, you responded by saying how you expected Geico to make progress in a year or two. Greg, you spoke about your pride in BNSF, but you didn't directly address the threat of precision scheduled railroading. Will each of you please provide perspective on these competitive challenges and our company's strategies to address them?
In terms of Geico and telematics, let me make the observation that Geico has certainly taken the bull by the horns and has made rapid strides in terms of trying to bridge the gap in terms of telematics and its competitors. They have now reached a point where on all new business, close to 90% has a telematics input to the pricing decision. Unfortunately, less than half of that is being taken up by the policyholders. The other point I want to make is, even though we have made improvements in terms of bridging the gap on telematics, we still haven't started to realize the true benefit, and the real culprit or the bottleneck is technology.
Number 7, Berkshire's secret to unbreakable financial strength.
The really interesting thing is that within Berkshire, the casualty insurance companies have 4 times as much stockholder capital behind each dollar of premium volume. Of course, we see the big deals. Who would you trust if you had a big liability you wanted to dump on somebody?
And we have 25 billion or more coming in from things other than insurance, uncorrelated to insurance, every year with no obligations. We don't pay dividends. If you pay dividends and you cut your dividend, try going around trying to write insurance the next day. I mean, it's a business where the people are counting on you to pay. When we take that 10 billion, we don't agree to put it in 5-year bonds and 10-year bonds. We don't even think that way. And the people that do business with us know that they have somebody like nobody else on those, that's going to be able to pay 10 billion, no matter what happens to the economy. So it's not only the presence of enormous strength in the insurance companies, it's the fact we got all these earnings that essentially come in every month, and we don't have a lot of debt. I mean, and there just isn't another Berkshire.
Number 8, Buffett and Munger, no emotion in business decisions.
But I can't recall any time in the history of Berkshire that we made an emotional decision. That I know the movie had Jamie Lee in there, but that was for laughs. I mean, Jamie Lee, she's good, but she's not good enough to get me or Charlie to make an emotional decision. Charlie, I'm sure you have something to add on that.
Well, it's a different movie than is shown at most corporate meetings.
Yeah. But have we ever made an emotional decision?
No.
Oh, yeah. That's in business we're talking about. Yeah. No, you don't want to be a no emotion person in all of your life, but you definitely want to be a no emotion person in making an investment or business decision.
Charlie Munger. No emotion in business equal billions.
Yeah. No, you don't want to be a no emotion person in all of your life, but you definitely want to be a no emotion person in making an investment or business decision. You can argue that we probably, I would say that we made an emotional decision perhaps, and when a manager has been with us for some period, and we've ignored the fact that perhaps they weren't quite what they were earlier. But you can argue that if Charlie and I hadn't liked Louis as much as we did, we might have spotted it a little bit early, but I don't think it made any difference in the results.
I agree totally with it. I'm glad we behaved the way we did at Wesco. By the way, we bought the thing for a few tens of millions and it became worth $2 or $3 billion.
And that wasn't common in the savings and loan business, as you may have noticed. They really went crazy in that industry, and we had a wonderful guy in Louis. And
we didn't go crazy.
Yeah, we didn't go crazy.
Number 10, BNSF. Pride, progress, and future of railroads.
Yep. Moving to BNSF, I'll start again by expressing great pride in the BNSF team. We have an exceptional group led by Katie and her managers that show up every day to do great work on the railroad. At the same time, they would be the first to acknowledge there's more to be done there. The specific reference to precision scheduled railroading. The other large railroad, Class A railroads in the U.S. follow that, and including the two in Canada. We're well aware of what they're doing and obviously pay close attention to their operating metrics. And our team strives every day to be more efficient, obviously. I would say we balance it with the needs of our customers. If I look back to pre-2022, so we look at the 3-year period of 2019, 2020, 2021, the BNSF team made significant progress on their efficiencies.
Thanks for watching.